Hey guys, it's Gaz. Welcome to the Warframe video. So today we're going to be doing a Kuva farming guide in preparation for the double resource weekend coming up March 23rd through the 24th. So during that weekend, you'll be getting double resources for anything that drops. So we're talking Orokin cells. You'll get 2 per pickup, like Neurodes, whatever. Like all those rare resources will be doubled during that weekend, including Kuva. So Kuva is the resource used to roll Riven mods. There's also a small amount of things you can use it for crafting. But in this video, we will be discussing how to efficiently farm Kuva for the purpose of rolling Rivens. And we're going to be looking to get the most Kuva per hour. So I'm just going to give you guys a brief overview of the gear you should be using for this. Also, which missions you should be running. Okay, so let's quickly go over the gear. So the first thing I'm going to recommend to you guys is that you go to the market and you search for a resource booster. So it's this orange one right here. There's a blue version. Do not get the blue version for the purpose of farming Kuva. This does nothing to Kuva. What does work is this orange booster. So this doubles the amount of resources you pick up. So when we destroy a Kuva siphon or we harvest a Kuva tower, this will give us double the amount that we normally would get without this booster. Okay, so during that weekend, the 23rd, I'm going to say maybe just get the 3-day one and have it go throughout the weekend, and you'll get a ton of Kuva. Additionally, this is not necessary, but I would say it's very good, is to get a Smita Kavat. So the reason I suggest a Smita Kavat is because of this mod called Charm. It gives the user a buff every 28 seconds. Well, it has a chance to give you a buff every 27 seconds. A 28% chance to give you that buff. It has 4 or 5 different buffs. There's one buff that lasts 2 minutes at base that will give you additional double resources and affinity during the duration. So it is not a guaranteed thing. So this is basically like RNG if you're going to be getting this buff when you want it. Additionally, this buff only works on you. It does not buff your teammates. So this is just another way you can get even more Kuva per hour. So here's the build for the cat. I took the attack mods off of here because I don't want the cat getting into situations where it's getting attacked by enemies and this is just a utility cat right now. A lot of formas. We have Tech Enhance. This is a very important mod for this because the base duration of the resource doubling buff is 2 minutes. This will extend it to about 160 seconds, which is very nice to get you even more Kuva. Okay, so now that we've covered some of the gear, let's quickly show you which missions I'm going to recommend here. So once per hour, you have access to a mission called a Kuva Flood. So what you want to do to locate your Kuva Flood is find where the Kuva Fortress is on the map. This node is unlocked to you once you've completed the War Within, which is a story quest. So you want to find the planets that are closest to this Kuva Fortress because this Kuva Fortress moves around the map. So it's over here by Eris right now. Yesterday it was over here by Ceres. So you're going to need to locate that and find the planets closest to it. So click on one of the planets and you will see these missions with these like chili pepper kind of things on them. The mission you're going to be looking for is the one with 3 chili peppers on it, and it's called a Kuva Flood. These enemies are level 80 to 100, but we do get some enhanced rewards for fighting these high-level enemies. So comparatively, we'll be getting double the amount of Kuva in this Kuva Flood mission compared to if we were to do a single chili pepper mission called a Kuva Siphon with level 25 to 35 enemies. So once per hour, I'm going to recommend that you do your Kuva Flood mission. Once you've completed that, go to the Kuva Fortress, and then go all the way to the end. This node, Tevone, I believe it's pronounced. So this is called Kuva Survival. This is a special game mode exclusive to the Kuva Fortress, where you can extract Kuva, and I consider this faster than running the single chili pepper Kuva Siphon missions, okay? We're going to briefly go over what you do in this Kuva Survival mission, and then we're going to go over team comps that I'm going to recommend. So the mission starts like a normal survival mission where you hack the console and then you start draining life support per second. But there's a difference here. We are looking for an enemy with a red marker above their head. They are going to drop an item called a Kuva Catalyst. See, she just dropped it. We're going to pick up this Kuva Catalyst and we're going to bring it over to this life support tower. Once we take it into the life support tower, it's going to change it from a yellow life support tower to a red life support tower. And that will change it to an objective that can take damage. See how it is at 3,800 right now? it starts at 4,000 health. The enemies start to shoot it as soon as you activate it, being a red tower versus a yellow tower. So it's going to change from survival to a mix of survival and defense once you've activated this tower. So just keep it protected. This is where frame choice and weapon choice is going to come into play. I'm going to definitely recommend a objective control Warframe for this, and also AoE clearing weapons for that matter. So things like the Catch Moon Kit Gun, the Arca Plasmor, and things of that nature will be really good here. So now that we have almost completed this life support tower, the Kuva Catalyst version, another tower is about to spawn. So the purpose of this mission is we defend the towers as we go, and once a new tower spawns, we go over there and we repeat the process that we started on the first one. So once the timer is done on this one, I'm going to move over to the second tower. See, we've extracted 400 Kuva from that tower. Now we're going to wait for this one to spawn. Another Kuva Catalyst carrier will spawn, hopefully near the tower. Sometimes they'll spawn like on the other side of the map, which is unfortunate. So we're looking for that red marker for the enemy. There he is, so we're going to kill him. You can also use Necros, Ivara, Atlas, Hydroid, whoever, to make them drop additional Kuva Catalyst, which can be nice in some situations. Okay, so we're just rinsing and repeating. So you just do that, you move from point to point, you protect the objective, and you kill lots of enemies. So yeah, the thing that's big here is that we are not activating these life support towers for air. We get a small amount of air from the red towers, but it's much lower than the amount we would get from the yellow towers. So that's where frames like Necros are going to come very handy, because the enemies do drop life support, but you're going to need to kill a lot of enemies to get enough life support to stay alive. So see, he just dropped some for us. That's the general gist of what we're doing here, guys, is we're moving from objective to objective, trying to extract the Kuva and protect the tower. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump out of here. And I'm going to go over some team comps that I am going to suggest for this. I also have a full tier list on what frames I consider the best for this game mode, but when I was looking at it, I was kind of just like tearing a bunch of frames apart because they're not as good as the top tier stuff. So I don't think I'm going to be providing that tier list in this video. If you guys would like to see that, I'm probably going to put it on my Discord server, so just go ahead and join that if you want to. Okay, so here's the team comp situation for Kuva Survival, in my opinion. So the main frames that we're looking for here is we're looking for objective control and a loot buffer. So when I say loot buffer, I mean frames that are making it so the enemies are dropping more loot so we can get additional life support drops from them. I'm going to say that the best one by very far is Necros. So you want a high-range Necros build based around his Desecrate. You also want to use the Despoil Augment in most situations. But like what Necros is there to do is to use his 3 and never turn it off. He wants to be near dead bodies, so additional life support is dropped from the corpses. So I'm going to highly recommend Necros for this. Other frames for this, you could use Hydroid. I don't think Hydroid is anywhere near as good as Necros is because of the nature of the mission. We are moving from one objective to the next objective, and the way Hydroid's abilities work, he wants to be camping in one room, covering a choke point with his tentacle attack. So I really don't think Hydroid is very good for this, but maybe you can find some success with him. Additionally, Atlas, using his Ore Gaze augment mod, is pretty good actually. I tried him out the other day, and we were getting a good amount of extra life support drops while I was killing petrified enemies using my 3rd augment, the Ore Gaze. Also, Atlas can do some good damage with his punching, so I do agree that Atlas is usable here. But you do need to be using the Ore Gaze augment. If you're not using the Ore Gaze augment, I really don't think Atlas is as useful here as he should be. Alright, so moving on to objective control. So this is what we are going to be using to protect the life support tower that has become a Kuva tower. So some really good frames for this: Frost, Gara, Korra, Limbo. There are other frames like Vauban, etc. Basically, you just want a frame that's going to keep the enemies from attacking the tower, because the tower has 4,000 HP. At the point that we're going to be going to here, we will not be going past an hour in Kuva Survival, because, like I said earlier, the Kuva Flood 3 Chili Peppers mission resets every hour. So you get one of those per hour. So to get the most Kuva per hour, guys, you want to do your Kuva Flood, and then you want to jump into Kuva Survival until the next hour rolls over. So if say I started the mission at 2:05, like 2:05 p.m., I would go in Kuva Survival for 55 minutes to leave right at 3 o'clock to do my Kuva Flood, and then I would jump, after I complete my Kuva Flood, I would jump back into Kuva Survival and go another hour. Not everyone plays like that. I don't normally do that at all, but I'm just saying this is the most ideal Kuva per hour you can possibly get, is do the Flood, go into Survival, jump out of Survival at the hour mark, do the Flood, rinse and repeat, okay? So we will not be going past an hour here, so that's why all of these frames are taken into account with not going past an hour, okay? So objective control. I consider Korra and Limbo to be the best here, but Frost is definitely like really close to being top tier as well. Gara is also good because she can do DPS in addition. Also, the build I'm going to recommend for Korra is a max range build. 280 range. Don't go below 280 range. Trust me, it's worth it. Korra is probably one of the best Kuva survival frames in the game. And Limbo, you want really high duration. Small amount of range is nice, but you want really high duration just to make it so your stasis is lasting basically longer than the timer for the Kuva tower. Okay, and then another team member you want here is a DPS. You don't need a DPS if you have good weapons, but having a DPS like a Saren, a Mesa, Octavia, Equinox, Volt also works. Ember can work to some extent as well. You want to have one of those just to make it simpler for you guys. You don't have to be like paying as much attention. Additionally, I'm going to recommend that you run the enemy radar mod, also some corrosive projections. A mix of corrosive projections and enemy radars are very good here. The reason the enemy radar is good, guys, is because if you cover the map with enough enemy radar, it will make the enemies more alert, and they will start running towards the objective, which makes it easier to kill a ton en masse, okay? So you can actually do this mission with 0 enemy radar, but from what I've found, you have a much better chance of getting a ton of enemies to die and drop life support if you have some enemy radar on your build in addition. So what you can do is you can put the Animal Instinct mod on your cat, which will give you a good amount of enemy radar, and if everyone's running that, it's a good amount that you won't have to run any in your frame, okay? Corrosive protection is good because all the enemies are Grineer, which all have armor, and that will make it much easier to kill them. And the fourth frame, or the fourth roll here, is just a bonus roll. So you can run whatever frame you really want in that last roll. Oberon is really good. A second Necros is fine just to cover more enemies with a Desecrate. Banshee using the Resonance Augment mod to make your team just one-shot everything. Also very good. Some other frames I'm just going to list off the top of my head that I know are good here. Valkyr, there's Nidus, I already said Volt. Like a Volt using his like electric shields can be fun. Really, guys, the last roll is up to you. You can even bring like a Trinity or a Chroma if you really want to. The main things you want here is you want the loot buffer and you want the objective control. Those are the two frames you really want. You can do this solo on Necros. You can do this solo on Frost. It's just like you really want to make sure that that Kuva tower is not dying so you can get the most per minute, okay? So that's going to be the team comp. Let's quickly just go over a couple like builds that I'm going to suggest. So the thing about the Kuva Fortress is that there are lots of confined hallways. So a weapon with good AoE, like a Ketchmoon kit gun, or an Arca Plasmor shotgun, or a Maiming Strike melee weapon, etc. The Zenistar is really good. You want to just kill lots of enemies at the same time, so more enemies can spawn to replace them, and then you get more life support drops, you get more loot, and it just like is really good. Okay, so for your kit gun, corrosive will be good if you're not running 4 corrosive projections. If you are running 4 corrosive projections, you can run viral. You can pretty much run anything you want if you have 4 corrosive projections because the enemies are going to be a complete joke. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I had a full tier list like I mentioned, but I decided to omit it from the video because I didn't want anyone getting upset that I was telling them that their frame was bottom tier for Kuva Survival. Okay? You literally can play any frame you want in the game for Kuva Survival, and you should be fine as long as you are playing smart and you have good weapons. So yeah, that's going to be it for today, guys. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I will respond. And yeah, I will see you this week. We are getting Hildren on PC. We are also getting Melee 2.9 and some other stuff, hopefully. So yeah, I will see you guys later this week. Please like, share, subscribe, and have a good one, guys. Peace.